dead. But I don't think they're too hard.
Right. Okay. That's one of the things.
Owen was a big bloke, but I don't. He never struck me as being particularly hard.
Four guys in a van spending a lot of time in a van together. There's funny incidents and in jokes and things that happen. I find with the band that I work with, they like me. I sometimes think my function here is to be the straight one, not the butt of the jokes, but so they can all go off over here and have their own in joke. They need an outsider to make that work, and I sometimes will fill that role of being an outsider. I don't. What was the atmosphere like in the Sabbath van?
Ozzy was put upon a bit by the others, particularly Tony. Because he didn't play anything. They tried to make him feel that he was somehow inferior or inadequate. I made a great play of not letting him feel like that. He's a very, very sensitive man, is Ozzy. Very, very, a very nice man.
Yes, we've interviewed him recently. Yes, yeah, we've got there's an updated Home of Metal video which you might want to take a look at on the Home of Metal website, and there's a new interview with Ozzy on there.
Oh, great!
And he does actually say, he mentions Henry's Blues House very affectionately and sort of says, why isn't I wonder if there's anything else like that ever happening in Birmingham again, and what a great sort of thing it was.
Yeah, it's a good man, is Oz.
Yeah. I want to sort of ask more about the possibility of getting those of a time when it might be possible to obtain some of the things.
I know these are things I'm dragging my feet on. If you understand the hours I work and the things I have to do, the things on my desk, you would not believe it.
Yeah.
For instance, when I finish here tonight, I've got to go to a gig, and after the gig I've got to pick up the combo and the mic stand and the mic and put them in the car and bring it back to another gig that the band's playing tomorrow night, the place I never remember, belongs to in Hurst Street alongside Hippodrome. What's it called? The After Hours Bar. What's it called? It's the
Hurst Street.
It's off Hurst Street. It's the theatre bar of the Hippodrome.
Okay.
But it's in the next street, Thorpe Street.
Right. And
I've also got to see 3 boxes of CDs out there. I've got a band drum to Holland, Breda, play the Breda Jazz Festival tomorrow night. I've got them leaving 8 o'clock in the morning, so sometime between now and then I've got to drive the things out there. I haven't even started handling today's post yet. Yeah. Today's post is still in pristine condition on my desk.
Right.
I've got to reply to this, which will be a pleasure.
Yeah. But if there was one thing that, how I've described trying to sort of get an identity for Henry's Blues House.
Yeah, I've got to try and keep this company afloat at the moment. We don't seem to qualify for the funding that other people get. We don't seem to fit in with the city council funding as a whole. Yeah. It's very hard to pay. I've got 5 people working here.
Yeah.
It's a big salary bill every tomorrow.
Yeah.
We've got an upper limit on an overdraft we're allowed, and lunchtime today, viewing tomorrow's paychecks coming out, I was £104 inside my limit. That close to having the salary checks bounced. Now that gives you an idea of how precious my time is right now.
Yeah.
Then that's it.
Yeah. That's honestly don't.
No, I'd love to catalogue. I've got a collection of old jazz and blues photographs that goes back 100 years. Well, a long time.
Yeah. And
some great. I'd love to get those. My son is a professional photographer. He works for a Dutch newspaper called NRC. It's like the independent equivalent in Holland. It's the 3rd biggest circulation. It's the nicest paper. He's desperate for me to get amongst my negatives.
Yeah.
Because he's now obviously works digitally, but he wants to digitise all my negatives. I've got recordings going back to 1964 on analogue.
Yeah.
I want to digitise them.
Yeah.
All this is time and money. The more I can get up on my mind, I've got direct deals with all the 5 territories on iTunes. We're also with InGrooves, with the major aggregator online. So I've got direct with iTunes. We go independently to InGrooves. They're crying out for material. I've got 400 odd tracks at the moment. I must have another 2,000. We're getting to rise. I need to get my iTunes income up to about £1,000 a month. We're about £140, £150 a month now.
Yeah.
and I know how to do it. You get it up, you make it available.
Yeah.
No one's going to buy it when it's not available.
Yeah.
And these are things that are weighing hard on me. I don't
Yeah.
take holidays. I do take holidays. Every year I go for 8 days to Spain at Christmas. It's
yeah, I do understand.
in fact, my brother should be here. Come to think of it, could they help me today? Can I just find out? Do you mind?
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Hello.
Is Ron here? Oh, great! I didn't hear him come. That's good. It's a relief. Listen, I've got a bit of a problem. I've got to take some CDs out to Mark. King Pleasure. Phone him. Find out where he'll be over the next couple of hours. It's no good me meeting him in a pub somewhere because he'll have too many. He needs to be somewhere near home, so I can take the rest to his house. Well, find out what's good for him. I'll fit in whatever. I've got the Hippodrome. I've got to go to Silly Oak as well. I'll fit in between. Okay, cheers. He is here. That was the buzz we heard a little while back.
Okay. Yeah. I've got a note here of the Metro Club.
The Metro Club.
Livery Street.
Yeah, that has one or two significances. It was funny how these things come around. The guy who used to run the Thing Club, Metro Club, called me about a month ago when to book a jazz act. I booked the jazz act and he didn't call back. I don't know how to contact him. Raise somebody. Anyway, it was under an arch. Do you know where it is? Do you know where it was or not?
I've got a couple of descriptions of
I'll
it.
tell you exactly where it was. If you, in Birmingham, by the way, we have an expression. If someone looks really miserable, they say he looks really miserable. He's got a face as long as Livery Street, because Livery Street just goes.
Yeah.
You used to have on Livery Street on Colmer Road, and you follow it down on the right to where the first tunnel is under it, for the Soho Station.
Yeah.
I think. Yes, that would be on the corner of Great Charles Queensway now.
Yeah.
Then you go a tunnel further. That's the one that comes out by the music instrument shop.
Yes. Yeah.
On that corner into that tunnel is what the Metro was. The entrance was from Livery Street. Years later, it closed down. We had a famous footballer here called Andy Gray, who used to play for Aston Villa as a real hero.
He scored the winning goal in the European Cup final.
He bought the Metro Club, but had the entrance from under the tunnel, the back entrance, and he called it Holy City Zoo.
Right.
Years later.
Now, did Earth or Sabbath play there?
Yes, Sabbath played there, and I'll tell you when it was. It was the eve of Tony going to join Jethro Tull.
Yeah.
Is that me or you?
It's not me.
Oh, it's a fax machine.
Right.
It stops in a second. Yeah, it was the evening, the last gig he was going to play with Sabbath, because Dusty Bennett was on the same bill, and that was the night I told you earlier we were arguing. We were trying to persuade Tony not to go to Sabbath, not to go to Jethro, because it wouldn't suit him. He wouldn't make anything of it. So yeah.
Which isn't on this list, interestingly. So that tells you how
That's
good
right.
this. How
It
good
wasn't the first time they did it. They did it several times. It was a good gig.
Yeah.
Nice club actually. A real under arch club. It's all sort of like
I've heard,
tidy inside.
I've heard very good things about it. See, that's another example of a place that I'd like to sort of bring out and make people know about.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to kind of wind it up there.
Good.
Okay.
I'm sort of worried about things now, and you made me think about things I should be doing.
Yeah. No.
I'm happy to do this. I promised Lisa I would for ages. But
Yeah.
it's just that when you start thinking about the problems,
Well,
you may want to do it when you're just filming. You remember the photograph of the band, early photograph of the band in front of a white wall?
I've been told about this. Yeah.
You might want to do it there if you,
Yeah.
or here, whichever.
Because we're looking to do a film. I'll take this tape away, work out some really good things that are what we're looking for, and then if I can communicate with you via email about what those are going to be.
Happily.
So because I don't want to, with a film thing, I mean it probably will take as long, but the actual amount of talking that we get is going to be a lot less.
Yeah, of course.
You know, and I do. What do you think about my sort of when I was talking there about trying to build Henry's Blues Club? I mean, how do you feel about that?
Well,
I don't want to.
It is recognised. People,
Yeah.
I get people in California and all sorts of places asking me about it, and not just for Sabbath. I mean, the blues folk, the blues acts we had there was significant. I could give you a list of probably 30 major blues acts that play that.
Yeah. But if we don't sort of build it on the Sabbath level, then I think
no, it's help yourself. It was a good place.
But have you ever thought of doing anything with the name or anything? Like, I suggested if you were to make a Henry's Blues House compilation, have you ever thought along those lines? Turning it into a brand
Online?
anywhere.
No, I haven't.
I mean, if Mojo magazine was to do a big feature about Henry's Blues House, where would you stand in relation to going further with that?
You mean a cover mount? You mean?
No, I mean, Record Collector. They like to look back. Record Collector would possibly do something on it. Record Collector. There's nothing better than a new, undiscovered new story, a new historical story. If you look at the way that, what sells.
Some of the stuff we wanted to digitise is quite interesting as well.
You could, but I wasn't thinking cover mount actually. I was thinking more T-shirts and things like that.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I mean,
I'm very interested in the history and the background of things, and I sometimes feel it's sad that I can't remember half the things that we did.
Yeah.
I've talked to other people and say, "Oh, do you remember when you did this or that?" And I sort of remember, but there's only so much room in your head, isn't it?
Oh, sorry, Jim. I called Mark. Do you have any general time? Because he's in the pub now.
I'll finish in 2
I'll tell
minutes.
you, I'll call him back in 15-20 minutes.
Okay. Because if that story about Sabbath getting paid for their first appearances in Henry's Blues House is popularised.
Sell the T-shirt, yeah. He was a very, very, very nice old dog. Perhaps he needs a cartoon strip. An animated dog. Yeah, well, whatever. Do you want to come and down? I can show you a couple of sleeves of Tea and Symphony and those sort of things upstairs.
I'd like to get a photo of you first. Just
of me?
Yes, sort of as we're doing this.
I've got photographs if you want photographs.
What I like the idea of, like, here I am interviewing you,
Okay.
and take a quick photo. I've got my. Did you bring a camera? Yeah. Just while Alex is setting that up, can I just get you to give us your permission to use this material?
Yes, of course. I would like to have a copy of it.
Yeah. Okay.
If only to remember what I said.
Right. Okay.
Because eventually I'm going to put a book together one of these days.
Right. Okay.
I'm not quite sure which angle to make it from, but it's, the jazz angle tends to be more interesting.
Right.
The jazz things I worked with.
Right. Okay. Do you want to take the photo?
Portraits. Oh, got a bit of paper.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, there we go.
Nice.
I think what I'll probably do is write a little blog entry about this, and I think what I might do is say that we looked through this long list of published Sabbath gigs. I won't tell people where I got it from, because I think that'd be a little unfair. I'll just sort of say how you were able to not pick holes in it, but just maybe.
I mean, somewhere I've got the date sheet, but I can't imagine where it is. I used to date sheets 3 months at a time on A4, and I'd mount them on a piece of card so I can easily refer to it. I had January, February, March, April, May, June, and another one for July, August, September, etc.
Yeah, what was it like managing 4 bands in the days before email?
Great, easy. I talk to people. I mean, I don't see any bands around having date sheets like we had. I think Locomotive before the hit was just the whole world had Beatle jackets with little collars and things and comb forward hair and 4-piece get bands smiling a lot, and we had this sort of 7-piece rhythm and blues band which roared alongside them. We got so many dates because we were just so different. We front trumpet, tenor, saxophone, baritone, so it's very beefy, and Hammond organ, guitar, bass, drums. It was very, very, very tough, and he just stood out. So we did so much work. The downside was because there was 7 hours to feed, not 4.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much, Jim. I've found that absolutely fascinating, and I was looking forward to it.